Hi, thank you for watching our Post in Hong Kong Meet and Chat program. 歡迎大家收睇情牽波蘭居港波蘭人節目。My name is Nancy Chui, and sitting next to me is our guest of today, Dr. Krzysztof Sliwinski, Associate Professor at Hong Kong Baptist University, Department of Government and International Studies. Welcome, Krzysztof. May I call you Chris?
Yes,
It's
please.
easier.
Yes, it's
Right.
much easier. I know.
Okay, so thank you for taking time to come to our One Chat Gallery.
Well,
Yes.
thanks so much for the invitation. I'm really happy being here.
Okay, actually, Chris, how long have you been in Hong Kong?
Let me see. I came in 2005, so that's roughly 16 years.
16 years.
Yep.
Wow, and then you started teaching at Baptist University from 2008.
January 2008.
Okay, so you actually know Baptist University much more than I do. Even though we just did a seminar with our students there.
Yeah.
So I guess you know the place inside out. So,
I suppose I do, yeah.
yeah. So, well, next we're going to find out more about your story. So what makes you come to Hong Kong? And then what makes you stay in Hong Kong? Shall we start?
Please do.
Okay, so let's start with the first picture.
Mhm.
Okay, so please, Chris, introduce to us, who is this little boy in the picture?
That's me.
Very
Obviously,
yes.
yes. I honestly cannot remember when this picture was taken.
Yes. Must be at home.
Well, of course,
in
back in Poland,
yeah.
when I was, I suppose I was around 10, maybe.
Are you an only child? You have siblings?
Only child.
Wow.
Only child, yeah,
Okay, same
yeah.
here. So welcome to the One Child Club pair. Okay, so how was you like as a child? Are you already very serious, or you like to? What are your interests as a 10 years old?
I suppose I was quite well behaved and cheerful. That's what my mother told me.
Okay.
But curious, obviously, very curious about a number of things. But,
I can see from the eyes, from the picture, and from you. Okay, so where are you from? Tell us.
I'm from Warsaw, which is the capital city.
Okay, so we have a big book here in a gallery, Warsaw. But I asked you to select a couple of photos to describe your hometown. And shall we start with what you have selected? So guide us through.
So this is probably one of the most famous sites in the old town,
In the old
Warsaw.
town? Yes.
This is the Barbican.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a landmark, in fact. So when you see pictures from Warsaw, most often you'll see pictures of Barbican.
Yes, this one is more obvious. But why do you select Barbican and Old Town?
Well, the Old Town is my place, really.
Your place?
Yes, I was raised. I spent my formative years in the Old Town, this area. So that was my playground.
So
basically.
This is your playground.
Yeah, you could say that.
This is the most famous tourist spot in Warsaw, and that was
one of the most. Yeah.
So you must have met a lot of tourists, going around when you were from young.
Back then, there weren't that many, to be honest. I was born in 1976, so back then things were different. It was a different political system, different economic reality.
Yes.
But ever since I moved back, which was 2000, then yes, you could. Oh, well, there were lots of tourists, of course.
Okay, and that's why. This is still in the Old Town.
Yes, this is the Old Town. It's kind of a special place to me. I believe the name of the street is Dawna, which is like old street.
Yes. And why was it special to you?
It's one of our favorite spots, mine and my wife's, in the Old Town. And actually, if you take a look, you'll see my wife is in this picture with my daughter.
So what's the reason picture?
This picture it's kind of magical to me. It's so colorful, and at the same time, it's very small. Not many people know about this.
Yes.
It's kind of my place.
Okay, and that's where your wife is from as well, from Warsaw.
She's also from Warsaw, but she's from a different part. From a different part.
So the Old Town always have a special meaning to you. Now, this one, for everybody who has been to Warsaw or even not been to Warsaw, we know. This is
the Old Town Square.
Yeah, the famous, the mermaid, the Warsaw mermaid. So is the house very close by to here?
Well, maybe 6 minutes walk.
Just 6 minutes walk.
Really,
okay.
Yeah.
And what is this?
Okay, this is the very center. It's not the old town.
No.
This is the very center along one of the major streets, Krakowskie Przedmieście.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about this place is that you can't really see it in the picture, but to the left, the building to the left,
yes,
used to be the central committee of the Communist Party of Poland.
Okay.
But now, of course, it has turned into just a commercial place.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some very good restaurants there and
yeah.
pubs, you know.
Yeah.
So this picture, I was hanging out with my best friend.
Okay.
A year and a half ago,
yeah.
when I was in Poland, and well, actually, he took me to this place because I hadn't known, and it was great. It was
a lovely
lots
time.
of people.
Yes, I can imagine that sitting there enjoying a glass of beer. That would be really cool.
It's very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So looks a bit royal. And
yes. This is my alma mater, as they say. So this is my university. This is where I studied. This is where I did my bachelor, my master, and my PhD, and where I even worked for the first 2 years.
And this is Warsaw University?
The University of Warsaw. Yes, it is.
University of Warsaw.
Yes, and this is the main campus. Not that far away from the old town, in fact.
Right.
Just maybe 10 minutes by bus.
Okay. So Warsaw is always your place. You haven't lived in other cities or towns in Poland?
No.
Okay.
No. It's always
Die hard Warsaw. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that.
So I think who you are is very much shaped by the water, the air of Warsaw. Can I say that?
Yeah, I suppose you can.
Yeah. Okay. The next picture you chose is a bit unusual. And tell me about more why this picture.
Okay.
What is this?
This is significant for two reasons. First of all, it's more of an artistic picture, as you can see.
Is this the uprising?
And that's exactly. Well, it's not the museum. This is the again. It's just maybe 2 or 3 minutes from where I used to live. It's opposite the what we say, just the new courts. And this is the monument that represents the Warsaw Uprising and
right.
everything that happened as a consequence of that.
Yes.
So this is a very special place today. Well, when I was a kid, actually, there was no monument, there was no courts.
Okay.
There was just a huge field, and this is where I learned to bike.
Okay. and you took this picture?
I took this picture, yes.
And so I can easily say that taking photos, there's something in your blood. You like taking photos?
It's part of me. It's part of me. Well, actually, from very early years, my father was an amateur photographer. Well, amateur photographer.
Yeah.
He also did work as a photographer a bit.
Okay.
And my earliest memory is when we developed pictures together in the bathroom that was turned into a dark room, which my mother hated, obviously, because we destroyed everything around because of the chemistry that you use.
Okay.
But I remember I was fascinated with this idea of the image that is suddenly appearing in front of you.
Okay.
It got me hooked, I suppose.
All right. And then the next picture is you.
And that's
a younger you in Warsaw, I suppose.
Yes.
And taking photos.
That was.
Did you join a club or something, or you? Whoa.
I suppose that was taken in 2005, 2006.
Right.
And at that moment, I was actually studying photography.
Studying photography?
After I did my PhD at the University of Warsaw, when I started working, the first thing I did, I enrolled for a photography course that it took 2 years.
Yes.
And we started photography from scratch.
Yes. Well, I have to say, Chris, if I didn't know you were a professor in international relations, I would have guessed that you were teaching photography. So why?
I could, actually. I think I could.
I'm sure you could. But why?
I mean, I would like to. I'm not sure if I could, but I would like to.
Why this subject, this special area, international relations?
Why international relations? Well, when you asked me when I was a kid, I was always curious. I was always very curious, and because of books that I read, and I suppose this curiosity, I was always very interested in the world, and I wanted to explore the world.
Right.
And one way of doing it was, of course, studying international relations.
Do you remember at what age do you first travel outside Poland?
Oh yes. It was 1987.
1987.
So I was 11 years old.
Where did you go?
And I went to the Netherlands.
With family?
With my parents.
Okay.
To visit my cousin, who's the Dutch by now, but originally she's Polish, but she married a Dutch guy many years ago.
So what does that trip mean to you at 11?
Well, it was an eye opener because that was the first time I was out of Poland, and I realized that the world outside Poland. You have to remember, Poland back then was still a communist country, quite backwards in many respects, and very grey, I have to say. And then I saw a different world, and it was amazing. So in that sense, it was an eye opener, and I remember that ever since that first trip, I always wanted to travel.
Right, and then it was an easy choice for you to choose international relations. It was apart from photography, of course. It was
one of my preferred disciplines. At the end of the day, I also wanted to study sociology, which I'm still quite interested in. But I ended up with international relations because precisely I was always interested in the world, and I wanted to understand what's happening in the world.
Yes.
So
and you must love it very much because you graduated with distinction, a bachelor, your master, and then you went all the way up, and then you got your PhD.
Yeah.
Yes. And what was this? This looks very nice. Where's this place?
This was taken. This is at the old campus at the University of Warsaw. It's one of the palaces that are on the campus, and this is where doctors are promoted. So that was taken right after I had been promoted to Doctor of Philosophy.
So that would be 2005.
That would be 2005. Yes.
Right, and everybody in different subjects wear the same black clothes, or different ones?
No. Everyone looked pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. And
just the professors, they had colors.
The colors. All right. So it must be a special day.
It was a very special day. Yes, it was very special because my wife was there, my mother was there, and my mother-in-law was there as well.
Okay.
So
So you were married.
Three most important.
You were married at that time already, or?
I wasn't married yet.
Okay.
But I was a girlfriend.
Yes.
My girlfriend to be wife.
Okay, nice. So all the closest family members, people that you treasure most, are with you on this special day.
Yes.
So lovely. So imagine you were there, and do you already have a vision? Looking at this guy in the picture, you want to go away and then to explore more. And what took you to Hong Kong after this? Did you think about Hong Kong at that time? I guess not, right? It was very strange for people,
I mean, obviously I knew about Hong Kong, and when I was a kid, by the way, I watched movies with Jackie Chan, which were like Police Academy. I think I've got the title right. And they were quite big in Poland. Or Bruce Lee, of course, all little boys were fascinated with this stuff. And of course, I was aware of Hong Kong, but I never dreamt of actually, coming to Hong Kong as a tourist, and let alone settling down here. But when I started traveling, during my masters, I traveled around Asia. And most of the trips, I say we because I traveled with my wife. Most of the trips we ended in Hong Kong. Wow. And one of the reasons was that my wife's sister came to Hong Kong.
I say.
With her husband, and
they stayed in Hong Kong.
And I think they've been here for 18 years.
Okay.
By now.
So
something
that
around.
is a strong reason on all your trips around the world that you always find yourselves in Hong Kong.
Well, in Asia. We mostly
Asia.
traveled in Asia, Southeast Asia, and
Okay.
Central Asia. Well, not Central that much, but
Okay.
South
and
Asia.
You have sent us some photos of you because, again, you love taking photos.
Yeah.
So that is, where's this?
This is Mount Everest. This is Tibet.
Mount Everest,
Yeah,
right.
this is Tibet.
Okay. There's a lot of photos, beautiful photos that you took.
This was taken in Australia, actually, just a year ago, over the Jarvis Bay.
Right.
This one too. This was taken in northern India, so-called Little Tibet.
Asia always has something in you that you also always love or curious on how it is like.
This is Nepal.
Yes.
Why Asia? Well, lots of reasons why Asia. But one of those, I like to joke about this. My grandfather was partly Mongolian.
Okay.
And so I like to joke about this, that, I've got a bit of Asian blood.
Okay.
And that's why I've always been drawn to Asia.
Right.
I suppose that might be one of the reasons.
Okay. And then, and this is
This
Asia?
is China. This is China.
Okay.
And this is northern India again.
So
Darjeeling, I think. In fact, this is Darjeeling.
So in fact, I see that the subject's interest varies. Apart from the sceneries, you're also interested in taking portraits.
Well, I'm not that good in portraits. Well, my wife is much better when it comes to portraits. I really love scenery and detail. So, but here, and sometimes I also take portraits.
Okay.
But still, my wife is much better when it comes to portraits. I have to say.
Okay, definitely, wife is better. Okay.
Wife is better.
We'll see. And Singapore.
And Singapore, which used to be kind of second home.
Why?
My wife used to live and work in Singapore for 3 years. She worked there as a scientist. And so, every once a month I would visit Singapore. Or she
From Poland or in Hong Kong?
We came to Hong Kong.
Okay.
Then I got my job at Baptist U, but my wife got her job in Singapore. So we lived in two cities.
So is the Hong Kong, Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So now back to Hong Kong. Now back to your academic life. And tell us more about what you do at Hong Kong Baptist University.
I work at the Department of Government and International, which basically is international relations. We have a strong European studies stream. And so I teach various courses in both international relations or European studies. This particular picture was taken during an exercise that I used to organize for the students, which was a simulation of European Council. Within European Union, one of the institutions of European Union. So, we would have a lot of students that they would act as heads of states and heads of government. So that's what I would do.
And this is from the same event. So these are your students.
Yeah.
Plus the other, I can see you.
Some other academics. Yeah.
And you're still organizing events like this?
It's much more difficult now because of the pandemics, of course.
Yes.
I kind of passed on the baton, and my younger colleagues do it now.
Okay.
Except for one iteration of this exercise that I still do, which is funded by the European Commission.
Okay.
From time to time.
So this is kind of your specialties in Hong Kong, is European studies.
Yes, I mean, my department, me personally, I suppose that's one of my area of expertise, one of my areas of expertise.
Okay,
yeah.
And then I can see that, this one is Students in Action. So what was your role?
This was taken at the Office of the European Union to Hong Kong, Macau, in fact.
Okay.
Because I would organize one of the classes for my students at that very office.
Yes, we can recognize that as HSBC building.
There you go.
LSB St. John's building.
Courtesy to the office. And what we hear, I think we're doing a simulation of EU-China summit. Like a very short exercise.
Very interesting. And then, this must be a more recent photo. Now you've grown your beard.
And
this is also similar to
5 years ago. That was during one of those visits. Yes, that was taken during one of those visits.
Okay.
And that's our most representative room at BU, where we hold, big gatherings.
Okay.
And this is the room that I would usually use for this kind of exercise.
Okay.
So as you can see, there are lots of people involved.
Lots of people, but easy to spot you. The left-hand side, and then the big smile. Right. So, Chris, you have to tell us, because the next photo is you with a student, and that Hong Kong BU has awarded you. You won the Hong Kong BU President's Award for Outstanding Performance in Teaching.
Right.
So
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about what is your take about teaching and learning? What do students think about you?
I don't really know what students think about me. Maybe I don't want to know. When I came to BU, when I started teaching at BU,
yes.
I know that I had a nickname, and that nickname wasn't that nice. I was the killer.
The killer.
The killer, because I would actually fail students.
You will actually fail students.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why they called me the killer.
The killer.
Yeah.
But sometimes killers are people that we love and hate, because by killing us, we also learn.
Well, I hope that they like me a lot as well. Maybe not just hate me, but like me. Maybe a bit, but like me.
Actually, I've been a bit intimidated chatting with you with academics, because I know academics, they're intelligent, they know a lot of things, and then they think very deeply, and they can be pretty tough on students. And I did a lot of research. That's why you see lots of papers here. So I have to quote you, Chris, because, viewers, if you're interested, if you go to Hong Kong BU, just, type Sliwinski, you will go to his personal website, KrzysztofSliwinski.com. And then here, he has a lot of sessions and then describing different things. Now, I quote what you wrote. I take scholarly work very seriously, always aiming at meeting excellent level. So this is something you think your standard is how, but international relations is not science. How can...
No, it is. It's social science.
It is a science?
Absolutely, yeah, by all means.
Okay. So what is excellent for you? What is quality and excellent?
Well, I suppose it's less important how many papers you do a year. It's more important if you give your best, if you do your best. And the way I treat my work, both teaching and research, is
I always, right?
Obviously, I mean that's part of the job.
Yes.
That's always give your best, and both to the students and to your readers. So that's what I mean by taking it very seriously.
Now, Chris, imagine, even though I passed that age, I'm not that young. Imagine, please. I'm a year 1 student, green, and then I got accepted by your department. This is the first day.
Okay.
And then I heard that you're the killer. Okay, first session, and then I wonder how, what the teacher, the professor is going to tell me. How will I be motivated? I'm so scared. Okay, remember, I'm a very intimidated. I love international relations, but how will I meet your expectations, Professor?
Well, it's pretty simple, actually. Yes, just make sure that you give your best too. Whatever your best is, simply give your best, and that should be enough.
What is my best? My best. What should I do? I'm used to reading a lot of things, but I don't know what is best.
Well, I suppose as long as you follow instructors, lecturers, and try to deliver all assignments to the best of your ability, that should be enough, really.
So if I do my best, and you will see I have done my best, right?
That's what counts. That's what counts.
And that is more important. I am with my best and not with comparing with another student, with being better.
Well, my point being that every time you give your best, you improve.
Every time I give my best, I improve. Okay.
That's my take on it, anyway.
That's your take.
So, sooner or later, you will see improvements and your professors will see improvements and you're going to be fine.
So I don't have to be scared. I just
Absolutely
do my
not.
best. Absolutely not.
No.
Okay. Now, I'm going to quote you again because in your website, that is one quote. Now, the killer has this quote. And it reads, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and relearn." And that's the quote from Alvin Toffler. So why does this mean so much to you that you actually put that as a quote in your website?
I suppose I found this quote particularly relevant to not only my work as a researcher, but also my work as a teacher, because it tells you that you always have to be ready to accept new knowledge. Right? There is, especially in science, there is no such thing as really an established level of knowledge. Scientists constantly challenge what they know. And because 21st century is really supposed to be driven by knowledge, economy driven by knowledge, about which Toffler wrote as well, I find this particularly relevant. I think it's not, you won't be able to function in a society in the 21st century without being, constantly open to new knowledge coming in from all kinds of sources.
It sounds like recycling. You have to take things in and to get rid of things, and then you take things in again. Learn.
Yeah, but every time there are new things. There are new things, and they're the things that we constantly discover as societies.
Okay.
So, in other words, things happen much faster today than they did even 20, 30, or 40 years ago. And we have to keep learning. And I suppose that's why I find this so important.
And you're also still learning?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, yes. I hope I will never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
Learning is the most fun you can have in life, the way I see it, at least.
Okay. Right, so much about learning. So let's go to your other parts of your life, your interests. So I did my research, and I know Chris has 4 interests. So number 1 is, of course, traveling that you already mentioned. This is Hong Kong?
This was Tibet, I think.
Oh,
yeah, I think it's Tibet, but the actual Tibet.
Okay, because I didn't recognize that. So I will be very surprised and happy if I find a new place. Usually I do that. I find out from the Polish people in Hong Kong about places in Hong Kong that I've never visited. Okay, and the second, you already mentioned, and we all know, photography.
Yes. Yes, this was Australia. It was Brisbane, I think.
Oh, Brisbane. Okay.
Travel and photography, they combine wonderfully. I mean, they complement each other. So, as a natural way to document, where you go.
Yes.
And that's how I started my adventure with photography on a more serious level.
Okay.
I suppose.
Okay. Now, the next one was a surprise because I could have guessed traveling, photography, all go together. But the next one is your passion in music. So apparently you also have the artistic side. Everything is art actually, but this one is
photography
different.
Is art as well.
Yes. So, but this is another one.
Yeah.
And so, what do you do? Apparently you play the guitar. So, what else? Music do you like to play? Do you sing?
I do, yeah, a bit. The biggest challenge to me has always been composing. And,
composing too?
Yes.
Okay.
And I try to compose a bit and then play it. I've always treated guitar and music as an incredibly indispensable part of my life.
When did you start learning guitar? Or
I think I was in high school. It's my secondary school, so I must have been 15.
Was it because it's
15 or 16?
Because it's a cool thing to attract girls when you make music.
Not really. Not exactly. No, that wasn't my case.
Okay.
No, I was back in the day. I was very fascinated with a particular Polish musician, a bard. Jacek Kaczmarski. He was incredibly influential, especially in the 80s.
Okay.
and in the events leading to the end of the communist system in Poland. And I was fascinated, among many of my colleagues. I remember at that time that we were equally fascinated in his music and the lyrics, and that's how it started. I mean, I started playing and singing his songs, and then I've evolved over the years, and I started to play more. I don't know, Eric Clapton or Sting, and then I moved on and I started composing my own pieces, but of course nothing to compare with the professionals.
Well,
just a bit,
It's about what you like and it's your interest and your passion. Yeah. And this one I remember, and it was how funny. I had the next picture as my picture because I actually took similar picture of you, and that was 2014. It was at this occasion when this Polish and Hong Kong couple, Chris and Sheila, they launched the book in Hong Kong, and we have the special reception. And I didn't know Chris at that time, and then I was fascinated by this person playing guitar, and then I went forward to take a photo. And I asked people who that is, and then some people say, there's an academic teacher of some kind, and we never spoke. But funny enough, when you gave me the photo, I realized that
it's the same picture. It's almost the same picture.
I must be, standing very close to the person. It's really, really nice. So music is number 3, travel, and the photo, music, and number 4, this is something new.
It's considerably new. I started kite surfing 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. This is Hong Kong?
This is actually Okinawa, Japan.
I can't imagine that in Hong Kong. Is there any place to...
You can, actually. There are 2 or 3 spots in Hong Kong where people do it. One of them is Discovery Bay, where I live, actually. But it's very demanding.
Right.
As I said, this is considerably new, and to be honest, I haven't done it in a while, since my daughter takes up so much of my time. So
yes, that is a very important. Yes.
But if I have a opportunity to go back, I will definitely go back to kite surfing. It's fantastic.
Okay, so yet another passion in life, but of course the most important passion or interest of you is of course family.
Family.
You already mentioned about your wife from the very beginning, and so please tell us who is this little girl, the little lady here.
So this is Lila. Lila is 4 years and a half.
So she was born in Hong Kong or born in Poland?
She was born in Poland, and I brought them back to Hong Kong 3 months after she was born.
Wow, so she's growing up in Hong Kong.
She's growing up in Hong Kong. She already learns Chinese.
All right. So
I hope that one day she'll be fluent. Yeah.
Okay, so she's now in kindergarten.
She's in kindergarten, yeah.
4 years old. So of course, a lot of your photos are your hobby or your family hobby. This one is
This was taken in Poland in Tatra Mountains.
Oh,
actually, on top of Kasprowy Wieś.
Right.
Which is a very well-known place in Poland.
And of course, your little girl is enjoying your passion in music.
Well, to be honest, every time I sing or play that, she says, Daddy, stop making noise. So I'm not sure she enjoys that much.
But she is enjoying herself in this picture, at least.
She loves drumming, that's for sure. So,
well, I can say that what we have seen, your academic life, your interest in so many things, have already taken up a lot of your time. But yet, from this picture, another photo, but this is actually what really amazed me. I don't know how you find time, but viewers, if you look at this image, there's a couple of picture.com, and this is a website set up by you and your wife Agatha.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So and then at the same time, you also set up Facebook groups, Hong Kong photo sharing and Discovery Bay photo sharing. So
that's correct.
Yes. Why you are doing all this? If you like photos, you just take photos. Why are you setting so many community projects?
Okay, well, it started with the Discovery Bay photo sharing group. Because I take so many pictures almost daily. You take pictures and you always want to put them on, and share them. to me, photography is very personal, and every time I share a picture, I actually share, something intimate, part of me, the way I was looking at a particular.
How it's connected to you. Okay.
And so I started with this Discovery photo sharing group, which is now quite well followed. And then, I realized that as I take pictures on a daily basis, half of them I take in Discovery Bay, another half somewhere in Hong Kong. And I said, oh, well, why don't I set up another group? So that's how it came about.
Okay.
But the idea of taking so many pictures, the thing is, you said it takes a lot of time. Actually, it doesn't.
No?
It doesn't take a lot of time. My approach to photography, this kind of photography at least, is that, well, let me put it this way. When we were studying photography with my wife, our professors would tell us that, it's very important to be in the right place at the right moment, have the right equipment with you. And yes, it's true. This kind of photography takes a lot of time.
Mm.
And obviously, we all live very busy lives, especially in Hong Kong. And yet, I didn't want to give up of this hobby. So I started taking pictures with my mobile phone.
Uh-huh.
So all the pictures that
you
see,
yes, and these are
we
all
all
mobile?
do. They're all mobile, mobile phone. And I came to understand, at least with this kind of photography, that an interesting picture is not about being the right moment in the right place and having the right equipment. Is simply just making the best out of what you see.
See, again, is that making the best?
Oh, there you go.
Yes, very important.
So getting the most out of the particular scene with the equipment that is at your disposal, and that's a challenge. And well, sometimes it works. I think
Well, I have to say, I gave Chris a very difficult task because he must have taken thousands, or if not more, millions of photos in Hong Kong. I asked him to just choose 10 of photos that he loves, and then here are the 10 of Chris picks. Let's take a look.
Wan Chai.
Wan Chai?
This is actually Hong Kong Baptist University.
Oh,
so I was waiting for a minibus, and I saw the sunset, and I thought, oh, that might look interesting.
Yes, sometimes it's really the lines and the light and everything together, and it clicks connected, and that's it.
That's it. This is Discovery Bay. This is also Discovery Bay.
And
our bus depot.
Is that all mobile phones?
All mobile phone. All these pictures taken with mobile phone. This is we've got a chapel in Discovery Bay.
No.
A wedding chapel. People go to take.
Okay, never been there.
Yeah, and it's surrounded by this sort of a pool. And well, I was just passing one day, and I said,
this one. Do any filtering?
I do a bit of touch up with all of my pictures, but I only do stuff that you would normally do in a dark room.
Okay.
So a bit of I work a bit on contrast, maybe a bit on saturation.
Yes.
Get the details in lights, in the shadows, but nothing too excessive.
But this is really stunning because I really love it. I don't want to go to the next one, but anyway, okay. This is different.
Big Buddha on Lantau Island.
Because I asked Chris to take photos that he likes, maybe places that has meaning. So why?
Well, this is a sentimental place for me, I suppose.
Sentimental.
Why? 2005, right? When I first came to Hong Kong, that was the first place I visited in Hong Kong. It was the Big Buddha, the very first. I mean, apart from Discovery Bay, right?
Okay.
But the first trip I took was to the Big Buddha on Lantau Island. And I remember, I was already very much impressed by Hong Kong, and I really liked what I saw. And when I was there back in 2005, I thought to myself, oh, I think I would like to live in Hong Kong,
So that is when you have that moment.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, and then you feel, I want to say.
Yeah. Wow, and then two years later,
you came.
I just came.
And you got over. Okay, so that is sentimental.
Yeah. And that's exactly the view that I was looking at when I was having those thoughts about living in Hong Kong.
Now I have some shivers because I can see it, I can feel it. I don't know what it's saying to me, but this is really sentimental. another more tranquil Victoria Harbour. Does it take a lot of, you live in Discovery Bay, so there must be a lot of ferry ride every day.
Well, I do not take the ferry every day, but once every week, or maybe once every second week. And then it's absolutely stunning. I mean, Victoria Harbour is absolutely stunning. I could take pictures of this place forever, and every picture will be different.
And I
absolutely love it.
This is my favorite. With the Star Ferry.
With the Star Ferry, yes. From the Star Ferry, actually.
Yes, it clicks. It strikes a chord, and so this is really, really nice. Thank you. I'm always very happy that with a lot of Poles in Hong Kong, they actually take beautiful photos of Hong Kong at moments that we never know they exist, and then you're sharing these photos in your group, and that is really very special. I feel very, very touched by seeing all these views. Right, okay, back to academics. So I got carried away by your artistic talent, apparently. Okay, so back to let me ask you some tips. Now, Hong Kong students, secondary school students, they are doing their DSE and soon they will graduate. So for a secondary school student who is going to graduate and they are going to make important crossroads decisions on where to study, what to study, what will be your advice to them? Professor, you have walked that path. So
I did. Also, although I have to, before I answer this question, I have to be honest with you. When I was making a decision, I was really following my heart in a sense that I felt I'm interested in political science, international relations. I'm interested in sociology. That's what I want to do. And I really did not think about who I'm going to be, where I'm going to work, if I'm going to earn any money or not.
No, not that.
I completely know. That was not on my radar. And, that's still, after all those years, I would still give an advice that would really be about following your heart. I would say, do whatever you feel that you really are interested in. And there's a good chance that if you study something that you really feel passionate about, you're going to become very good at it, and then the money will follow anyway.
Okay.
But what's the point of, choosing to study something that you really are not interested in, only to earn some money and then suffer most of your professional life doing something you don't really like?
Okay.
Then it becomes a torture, and life should not be about torture.
No.
So the advice that I would still give is just simply follow your heart and study where you think you want to study and what you think you want to study. If you feel that University of Warsaw in Poland, I want to study medicine, go for it.
Go for it.
Or if you think you want to study social psychology, by all means, go for it. Yeah.
So it's follow your heart and then do your best.
Exactly.
Get the most out of it, and then let life take you to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
In a way.
Exactly.
And in a way for you, that life has taken you to Hong Kong?
It has taken me to Hong Kong. Yes.
To Hong Kong Baptist University?
To Hong Kong Baptist University.
And then I feel envious of your students. And who have, I really want to see how the killer works.
I'm not killer anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't have no more killer.
I used to be, but
all right.
I'm not.
Okay, so I think it's a very insightful and a very inspirational chat with you.
Thank you very much.
Chris, and thank you very much. And I hope you will continue to stay in Hong Kong and take more lovely photos.
Well, we plan to stay here forever. This is our home now, so...
Forever.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
as long as possible.
It takes you. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.